Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think Dr. Ganapathy is here. And I thought I should touch upon a few points which Dr. Ganapathy raised in the last session. He said technology is only a means and it's not an end. And he said it's a great leveler. He said it is a tool for social transformation. But I think to a large extent he was trying to play to the gallery. He knew very well that it is almost the end. If you have seen a few days ago, Mr. Chandrasekhar of TCS made a very, very striking statement. He said in the age of internet, technology was in business. But today we are in the digital age and business is in technology. Okay? That is the transformation that is happening. And I cannot forget what Narasimha Rao said, if he had fought the British using cannons instead of swords, our destinies would have been different. But at the same token, I think pertaining to my subject, I was very inspired by what Satya Nadella said. He said that cloud and mobiles are truly revolutionary and they are going to change the way the enterprises are going to do their business. And I would like to see the cloud first and the mobile first. He said it 3 years ago when he took over as the CEO. I heard his presentation. But today I am amazed the way the cloud is transforming the way we are doing business in the hospital. Maybe people like us have been used to seeing the entire journey, from calculator to cloud. When I was doing my engineering, I was using a scientific calculator. Then came the computer. Then we had the user interfaces, then we had the network of computers, then we had maybe the network of computers gave rise to all these web-enabled services. And today you're talking about cloud. And yesterday when Sangeeta was mentioning about big data, what was very fascinating is that when you're talking about big data, it is not about gathering data. But it is about gathering data in huge volumes, either through IoTs or whatever, but getting information, very valid information, very good insight into the patient conditions and treatment is what is very, very interesting. Okay, let me go through the presentation very quickly, and I'm notorious for taking a little more time than what I should, but I think you're a good friend of mine, and so I'm a great fan of nuance, so can I have it? Yeah, thank you. I think we should have an overall view about the Indian healthcare, and that will give you a lot of insight. There is a dichotomy in Indian healthcare. You will see 40% of the children are malnourished, and we have inadequate poor health infrastructure, acute shortage of medical manpower. Public sector provisioning is only 20%, while private sector is about 80%. But there is an overall improvement in life expectancy. We have been able to eradicate polio. Our infant mortality rates, maternal mortality rates have improved. But at the same time, what has happened is huge corporate hospitals have come in. Even government hospitals have expanded. All India Institute of Medical Sciences and all have expanded. Private equity funds have come in. Venture capitalist funds have come in. Government is investing money, and so large hospitals are coming up. So with the net result, a lot of patients are being treated, and so more data is available to us. And with this IoT is coming in, if we are going to have a pediatric patient in a hospital, and if you're going to take BP once in 4 hours, maybe in a 24 hours time period, we will have about maybe 6 readings. So the baby is in the ICU for 10 days, we will get 60 data points. Just imagine if we have an IoT, we will be able to take readings once in an hour. So just imagine the quantum of data points will increase by at least by about 4 folds or 10 folds. So just imagine like this, there will be huge volume of data, and that huge volume of data cannot be stored in our own servers, cannot be computed in our own servers. We cannot run big data analytics on that. And so I think the necessary evolution is only cloud. And cloud will give us an enormous infrastructure, it will give us an enormous bandwidth, and that's what you're going to see. When they are talking about corporate hospitals, and medical colleges are also changing because of this NEET examination, I think the hospitals are getting more modernized. Even the medical college hospitals are getting more modernized. So you will find there will be a lot of input of data from these hospitals. High-tech procedure, in India, the nicest thing is that high-tech procedures are also being done. So we are not going to US. In fact, medical tourism is happening. You may ask me, what has it got to do with cloud? When medical tourism happens, they want EHR. When EHR has to be there, then they will say, I want to see the records all over the world. Wherever I am, I have to see the records. I think these things are really, really driving the cloud computing in India. Next. Okay, technology penetration. What is happening for technology penetration in India? India is leapfrogging information technology in telecom, and India is the IT powerhouse of the world. Enormous support and encouragement from investment by the state government and central government under Digital India initiative is happening. Healthcare is a slow adopter of technology, unlike banking and manufacturing and retail. That is also true in India. Healthcare organizations are slowly changing the focus. If you have seen in the last, say, 15, 20 years, we were only talking about billing information. We were only talking about claims processing. Maybe we will look a little more about registration and things like that. But things have changed rapidly. Now we are talking about electronic medical records, opting standards, and things like that. And one important thing that is happening is, because of these large chain of hospitals coming in, large investors coming in, those investors want a better visibility on what's happening in the hospital. And usually when they buy 10 hospitals, they buy 20 hospitals, they invest 1,500 crores, they invest 2,000 crores. So they say, okay, I need to have a robust IT system, I need to have everything on the cloud, I need to have SAP system into the EHR, linked to the EHR, and that's really driving this cloud technology. And one more thing that is happening is about the robotics, the bots, and the machine learning is also really, really adding flavor to this system. Next slide. What are the characteristics of cloud? Maybe we should understand what is cloud first. Cloud computing, it is a sort of a service. It is something like getting electricity into your house. It is something like getting water to your house. Previously, when I was working in the hospitals, I used to have a large server. I used to buy the server. I used to buy the OS. I used to buy the database, and incur a huge expenditure. But today, when I moved to the other hospitals like Rainbow Hospital, we simply did away with all those servers, and then we purchased computer hardware, software, OS, everything as a service, and it was all residing in one data center. Next is we can always have one HIS running on to this cloud, and we can use it for the 8 hospitals across the board. For all you know, we will have one antivirus software which can be used across for the 8 hospitals in the group. And one nice thing about this cloud is it is all about real time, it is available on demand, rapidly deployable, minimum management effort, either by the service provider or by the IT department. And the greatest advantage for clinicians is you can access the information from any place, anywhere, anytime. The classical example is whenever we have hospitals in the group where one doctor may go to a hospital in Coimbatore, he may go to Erode, he may go to Perundurai, the same group. But he would like to see what has happened to the blood sample of a patient which he saw in Coimbatore, he can see it in Erode. He can order for tests from Erode. In the same way, in Rainbow Hospital, when we had 8 hospitals, we had an IVF specialist who used to move from one clinic to another hospital in another state. So she was able to see the detail across, and that was a great advantage. And she could see it on the go. She could see it on a mobile device. And it was platform agnostic. You can use it maybe on iOS, you can use it on Android, you can use it on Windows, and that is the advantage of hosting it on the cloud. Next slide. What are the key characteristics of this cloud? I think you should make a distinction between the characteristics and the benefits of the cloud. When you say characteristics of the cloud, it's a measured service. It is something like you get electricity, it gets metered. You get water, it gets metered. In the same way, you can see how much of RAM you have used. You can see how much of data storage you have used, and they will meter it and then they will charge it accordingly. So this is measured service, optimizes your cost. It makes it as an operating expenditure rather than a capital expenditure. The next is the rapid elasticity and homogeneity. And this was very interesting for people like us. See, whenever we had the existing hospitals, we had a problem. The problem is that on Mondays, on Fridays, on Saturdays, we used to have huge influx of outpatients. So we needed more RAM, we needed more storage. At that time, all that my data center guy will do is, he will raise that, he would have calibrated, he would have configured it, and then the capacity will increase. On Sundays, no patients. It will be brought down. But if I have a server in the hospital, I can't do all that. Okay, the rapid elasticity was a great deal. We must make a distinction between elasticity and scalability. Elasticity is bringing down and bringing up. Scalability is increasing it. When does it apply? For example, in Rainbow, we started a 250-bed hospital in Bangalore. We started one hospital in Kukatpalli. They were all not greenfield hospitals. They were all new hospitals. But anyway, we have contacted with that data center guy, and what all we said was, okay, guy, this hospital is coming up on the 14th of November. We need to have so much course. Please get it ready. We had to give them only about four days notice, and it's all done. There was no server, there was no server room, no stabilizer, nothing, no IT power, IT manpower was required. So you can scale up, you can rapidly reduce and increase. And you can also host multi-tenancy hospitals. In the sense, in one cloud, I can have 20 hospitals, 30 hospitals running on the same cloud. In fact, before we had one cluster, 4 hospitals was put in the Hyderabad, and Hyderabad cluster was working. But we could not do the hospitals in Bangalore, we could not do hospitals in Vijayawada, but that was possible. The last one is, I think I am really amazed by this kind of facility, because previously they said you can do it only in Android. But then they said, okay, you can do it on iOS, you can do it on laptop, you can do any device, any place. That became very interesting. Then of course, this can be given as a service, it can be given as a platform, it can be given as software as a service, then you can host it as a private cloud. You will find that some hospitals would like to host it on a private cloud, on a VPN, it will be done. Maybe some hospitals will say, okay, part of it can be on public cloud, part of it I want to have it as a confidential information, that is also possible. Some people do it as a completely as a public cloud, and all these are available. This is more theoretical, so you must be able to do it. And we have found that establishing a data center for new hospitals is really inexpensive. For existing hospitals, maybe we have some legacy systems, so the rate of return is little longer, but it works out very well. And you don't have to have manpower costs. Then you can increase the capacity whenever you want. Then rapid scalability is possible, and anywhere, anytime access is possible. And these are all some of the advantages, and it is there available in your slides. This you must understand. There are certain risks. It is not that cloud is a panacea for every problem that we have. We have problems of data security, integrity, privacy, and compliance. But things are changing now with the standards coming in. And if you go to a trusted vendor like Azure or AWS or maybe Google, I think they have their own systems and they will ensure all this for us. Latency risk is one thing which you have to be careful, because if you have a hospital which is about, say, 500 kilometers away or 2,000 kilometers away, it is not that you cannot do it, but the response time will be less. So that's why the data center should always be close to your hospital, at least in the state where the hospitals are there, at least in the country where the hospital is there. But another problem is we find that many of the hospital information systems are not cloud ready yet. Maybe it will take some time before many of these software vendors make it ready for the cloud, and it will happen. And certain markets have done a huge market research study, and they have found there is $10 billion market in the cloud, and this is how they have classified by region. This is all going to be in your slide deck. Pricing model by region, component, deployment model, end user, software. This is a great opportunity for the cloud providers. That's why you find some of the big players like AWS, Microsoft Azure, all are rushing into India. Just to give you some insight into what was done, you will find that these are the data centers. You have to have network vendors, hospital information system, and the recovery system. Disaster recovery system has to be organized. We can provision this VM storage data centers into this data centers. Network vendors, you must have MPLS connectivity. That is one very important connectivity issue. You cannot do it through ordinary internet line. And that too, you need to have a fiber optic connectivity. And hospital information systems have to be hosted. And some of these are some of the vendors, and these are some of the hospitals which have already done. This is a simple case study of Rainbow Hospital, and these are all the hospitals, and they were all go live. This is a part of the case study which we have done. Thank you so much.